Portions of this show are recorded. Strap in and be prepared.
You just heard Baby J about 3 minutes give his entire A to Z on what was going on. I didn't interrupt you.
I don't even I got to everything, honestly.
No, you didn't get to everything.
Interesting guests.
Kelly Graves, Mike Parker, Josh Pate, Melissa Lombardi, Yogi Roth, who said that Justin and I are smart.
Sharp opinions.
I can see Dan Lanning sitting in his office, rubbing his hands together and saying, yeah, bring it on. You're just giving me juice.
I think you could be the type of team that has guys that excel in certain things. You don't need somebody that's great at everything. You need to be able to put guys in position where they're going to succeed.
And some smiles.
Is this thing on?
Is this thing working? No, that's why you got to do this. You got to go. Hello? Hello? Testing, testing,
it's like the little
testing.
girl in Nemo where she's tapping on the glass.
Fishy! Fishy, wake up, Fishy!
It's Danny Havel.
We have to be more specific. We have a lot of pickle things going on, apparently.
Justin Grossweiner.
It's a Schwar bomb. That's a man right there hitting that ball.
Danny and Justin starts now on Fox Sports Eugene and Newport.
Hello, neighbors, and welcome. Hi, atop the Delta trying the... How long have I been doing the show? That is the first time that's ever happened to me. All right. Hi, top the Delta trying the Crystal Palace in Eugene and Newport. This is the Danny Justin radio program live from the Bigfoot Beverages Studios on Fox Sports. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Danny. Right over there is my tag team partner, Justin Grossner. We call him Baby J. What up, boy?
You okay? You okay over there? That is the first time. I'm just glad that the bar has been set now.
How low that bar is set?
Anything I do is going to be better than that during my solo shows.
It's like a limbo bar.
Yeah.
That's so low right now. I got something.
But it'll make it memorable. It'll make it memorable. We'll remember this one.
Can we put that one in the open?
Maybe.
Welcome to Weekend Eve, friends. All right, so let's set that aside. Thanks for joining in on our tomfoolery. I'm Danny. That's Justin. We've got Mike Grimm coming up. He's the voice of Minnesota Golden Gopher football and basketball. He's coming out here on the left coast to call the game between the Ducks and the Gophers tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at Autzen Stadium. The weather, it's pretty good. Just slight breeze, 7 miles an hour, and light rain, if anything. And we've got that to discuss. We've got the mayor of Rip City, Travis Demers. Blazers, a nice win last night against the Pelicans as they finally get a win on this 5-game road swing that they have. They still have Houston and Dallas, I believe.
Ooh, good time to play Dallas.
Yeah, it would be, because Dallas has got some consternation going on. I was at the Oregon men's basketball game last night, 3-point barrage, the most three-pointers that Dana Altman's squad has ever thrown up. In fact, the most three-pointers any Oregon team has thrown up. 43s against the Jackrabbits in an 83-69 win, and got to hang out with our friend Luke Jackson before the game. It was awesome. Luke and I got to present Luke with one of my dad's hats. We got to talk a little bit about this team. Luke's he's very optimistic about this team. Mm-hmm. He says the talent on this team can be over the top. Now, it's all about how it gets molded. And Luke does stuff with the Oregon Sports Network. He's the analyst for the basketball games. And he has been getting better and better and better. So, I don't want to, he's going to kill me. But, people listen to the games. They listen to, so I'll just tell you, Luke has really grown in that role. It's hard. We've talked about this. Sometimes a player transition into a color role or a play-by-play role isn't always the best.
No, it depends on the player.
And the way he's able to break down games now and the player's mentality, which is, and he and I have talked about this quite a bit, is what he's bringing to the broadcast. So, if you get a chance to listen.
It's so valuable because that's something you and I can't do. No matter how much we watch and we want to be a part of things, like we can't talk about what it was like in a locker room.
Yeah. What it's like when you're on the floor, you got the ball in your hands with 20 seconds left and you're down by 1 and it's on you.
100%. There's a different type of understanding when you've lived it. And so that's why, it's Good player analysis is awesome.
So South Dakota State jumped out to a 6-point lead. I'm there with Abby. We're watching the game. Abby loved the game, by the way. She's like all in now. She's all in on basketball. So she's like, when's the next game, Dad? So we're going to hopefully get to the women's game on Sunday. Coach Graves. Throwing a shout out there. Coach Graves is on his deck this morning drinking coffee with a maple bar and scouting the next team, which is going to be coming up on Sunday. So, but let's get back to the men just for a second. 83-69 win. And this is Jackson Shellstad's team now that I've seen them in person. It is 100% his team.
It's funny how fast it happened.
They will go how he goes this season. I'm just going to throw that down right now. There's a lot of really good parts on this team. But, KJ, Nate Biddle as well, a force, another double-double. He got his 10th rebound with like a minute left in the game, so he got the double-double last night. A solid win for the Ducks, 14-point victory, so not as close as the first two games. South Dakota State's going to be a pretty good basketball team. They have been in the past, and I think they're going to be pretty good this year.
How about Takai Simpsons as well?
Yeah, and he got dinged up a little bit. Yeah, but he got dinged up a little bit.
That's unfortunate.
So we'll see. Injuries are going to be paramount for this team, trying to stay away from being injured. We have so much to get to.
I know we do.
Really? So, and over on the Oregon Man Athletics hotline right now, waiting for us is the voice of the Minnesota Golden Gophers. It's the great Mike Grimm, who's going to be flying out here. Mike, you've got a lot going on right now. It's the big crossover between football and basketball, and thanks for spending a few moments with us. But, man, it's busy right now.
Yeah, I'm excited to be in Oregon. The Gophers have never played at Autzen Stadium, which I found as I'm researching this game, getting ready to be interesting. It's only the fifth time these teams will have ever played, but never have the Gophers played, in Oregon. And so that's exciting. And, yeah, the crossover, I got back last night from Columbia, Missouri, where the Gopher basketball team decided to quit making baskets for about 5 minutes in the second half and had a 5-point lead turn into a 20-point deficit pretty quickly. But, that's the life of November when you're trying to do what we try to do.
6-3 record for PJ Flex team. So I guess you've got enough sample size now on this Gopher team for this season. Is this team playing in the style that PJ wants his teams to reflect?
I think this particular team is. It's not the traditional PJ Flex style, though. They have been, for his entire time here, more of what I would call trestle ball. He was a GA for Jim Tressel when he got done with the Niners. He had a couple of different stints with the 49ers as a receiver, a while on the practice squad, and then a couple of weeks on the active roster. I think that covered kind of 2 years. When he got done with that, he was a GA for Tressel, and I think that really set him in the way he wanted his teams to play. So they want to ground and pound. They love their quarterback. He's a redshirt freshman named Drake Lindsey. He's had ups and downs, as you would figure a guy going through the Big Ten gauntlet for the first time would. So they've thrown the ball a little more. I think they haven't run it as well as they wanted. Part of that's because their best runner, who's a future NFL guy, and Darius Taylor, has had the injury bug again. He had it as a freshman. Now he's got it as a junior. He was mostly healthy last year. And in fact, when you look, Minnesota, it breaks down pretty interesting. They're 6-0 at home and 0-3 on the road. Now, some of that is because of who they played. On the road, they were at Ohio State. And as you guys also found out, it's not easy to win at Kinnick. You guys did that. Iowa took it to Minnesota a few weeks ago. And so, they've had troubles on the road. And in those three road games, Taylor did not play much. He didn't play at all in the Cal game. Cal's probably the game, guys, that I think Gopher fans would look at and say, Cal's fine. They're a good team. But I think they'd say, gosh, that's a game maybe Minnesota should go in there and try to win. They were actually a favorite that night and lost by double digits. It was not a great game. The Ohio State and Iowa road losses are a little more explainable. The point margin at the Iowa game, that got out of hand early, and that thing was 24-0, and Minnesota had run 7 offensive plays, I think. A punt return, an interception return, a couple of 3-and-outs, and before you know it, it's over, and you're not even to the second quarter yet. And then the home schedule has been a little bit more forgiving. So that's a long answer, sorry. But for the style of play, it's not traditional. They're throwing the ball a little bit more, partially because they love the quarterback and partially because they just haven't been able to get the running game going the way traditionally this group has.
And I'm glad you mentioned that there at the end. I was to ask about the passing rate. It's 20th in the country, but the juice maybe hasn't been worth the squeeze. 200 passing yards per game. You mentioned Lindsey's a young quarterback. What has held him back in the passing game back when it hasn't been quite as successful as maybe they want?
Yeah, I think he as a freshman, he doesn't want to make mistakes, and so, and I don't know if this is a bad thing. He has settled for the check down a lot. He has not taken a lot of deep shots. I think he's just trying to not turn the ball over, not make mistakes. He's thrown to his running backs often. In fact, the last time the Gophers played, it seems like 5 months ago now, but it was just, they had a bye week last week. But, man, it seems like it's been a long time ago when they played Michigan State. This is off the top of my head. I don't have it in front of me, but I think he threw, I'm going to say 24 times, and I think 19 of those 24 attempts were 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage or less. And like half of them were at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. So they were running a lot of screen passes, and then it turned into a lot of check downs. And so yardage-wise, I think that's probably hurt some of his numbers. And the kind of the weird thing is he throws a really good deep ball. The times they have gone deep earlier in the season, they have had some positive results out of it. So we'll see what happens tomorrow in terms of what Minnesota wants to do. My hunch is they would love to get the running game going. They did finally have a great running game against Nebraska. That's their best game of the year. It's their best win of the year. They dominated the game on the ground. That was more of a typical PJ Fleck team, but they could not get the ground game going again. And again, injured was Taylor of that Michigan State game. He did not play. So I don't know if Taylor is going to play tomorrow night or not. It does change things from the ground perspective if he does.
Mike Grimm joining us, the voice of the Gopher Radio Network, has been in that chair since 2006. You can follow him on Twitter, Mike Grimm3. He also likes to drop in movie references when possible, including Blazing Saddles, which I thought was hilarious. Also in his background at KOMX, he joined us on the Danny and Justin radio program. Interesting little nugget, no Oregon natives on the Gophers roster, no Minnesotans on the Ducks roster. Now, that's just kind of like the build of the Big Ten programs. Not a lot of recruiting out west, except you're in the L.A. area or in Texas, the hotbed, and the same thing with Oregon in the reverse. But let's talk about how that's been for you, first of all, before we dig more into the game, because there's plenty more to unpack there. This edition of the 4 teams now out west into the Big Ten now in its second year, how has it been received by the fan base in Minnesota?
I think generally pretty well. I love it because I've been to East Lansing, Michigan, and West Lafayette, Indiana enough. I mean, God love them. They're great towns, and people could say the same. I grew up in Iowa, right? So I'm sure people say the same about, hey, I've been to Iowa City enough, and even Minneapolis. It's fine. I'm at the age now I like to see new things. In fact, tomorrow this will complete now the stadiums of the Big Ten. I've not been out to Oregon. And so I'm excited to see, and I know everyone talks about what a great atmosphere and environment it is. I've done a game in every stadium except Autzen Stadium and then the Washington Stadium.
Husky Stadium.
Know what the name of it.
Husky Stadium.
Yep. I actually went to. We had a bye week a couple of years ago when Oregon and Washington played the regular season game. I think Oregon missed a field goal late that would have sent it to overtime. I was at that game as a fan just for the fun of it. Like, what does a football announcer do on a bye week? Well, let's go to a place we haven't been. So I've been in the stadium, sat there. It was a purple out, so I have to admit that my buddy who went with me, we had to wear a purple Washington hat. I had no dog in the fight. It was cool though. I mean, man, that was Bucky Irving. Started his career here with PJ, and that's kind of a total sidebar. I hadn't even planned on bringing that up. It just kind of popped in my head there. So it was fun to watch Bucky. What a player! It's too bad that his NFL season got sidetracked. And obviously he loves Oregon and what it's done. He's actually stopped back a couple times here at Minnesota too since
I've heard about that.
He's been in the NFL because I think he feels good about the relationship here, and I think PJ really understands the transfer portal and the situation, and particularly with that, where it was a chance for his family to change their fortunes a little bit. And obviously Bucky had a great career. But anyway, it was fun watching Bucky in that game, and unfortunately Oregon ended up not. But long answer again. See, I can get babbling. You're in this business long enough. You can go.
You're fine, Mike.
But, the Oregon Stadium, Autzen Stadium, is the one I have not been in. And Washington and Oregon are the two places I have not called a game, so I'm eager to see it. I'm eager to do a game there. I love it. We had played USC in non-conference once before, so I've done a game there, and then we were at the Rose Bowl last year to play UCLA. And basketball is even better. I got to spend 6 days in LA last year in the middle of February when it's -6 degrees here. So I was asking the coach if we could stay longer. Can we add Cal Northridge or something and take in another 3 or 4 days out there? So I'm in favor of. You're always going to get the old heads who are, this isn't college football and all that. But I think we're at the stage now we all better roll with the punches here because it's changing every day. And so I like it. I think it's good. I do wish they'd go to some divisional play, though. I think that it can keep some teams' hope a little longer. Like everyone says, the Big Ten's going to the NFL model. Kind of. They are in the sense that they want to have marquee games be the highlight each week, and they're getting big money that way. But I think what the NFL does is they have 4-team divisions. So even like here in Minneapolis, the Vikings are 4 and 5. And if they were in the Big Ten, it'd be over for them, right? You'd be in November with no chance. 4 and 5, they're still in the, they got hot. They'd be in contention for sure for a playoff berth, but potentially even the division if they won their right games. If they beat the Bears this coming week, they'll be 3-0 in division games, So I think there should be some divisional play to keep teams' hope more alive. I don't know what that ultimately means then, because I don't know if you want to add semifinal games and all this stuff with conference title games, but I do like the 4 teams they added. I really do.
And I would sure you remember as well that the Big Ten kind of had some issues with the divisions when they had the East and West, because there was one of those divisions that was stacked. It was Michigan, Ohio State, and so it certainly would be interesting if they went back to that. Just digging back into this Minnesota team again, though, the defensive line is really what sticks out to me. They have the number 1 sack percentage in the country. Anthony Smith, 8.5 sacks. They have 7 players with at least 2 sacks. Just how disruptive is this defensive line and the front 7 in general?
Yeah, when they put a team in in pass situations and they pin their ears back, they're pretty athletic and they can get after it. The interesting part of that, if you really break the numbers down, is it's been feast or famine. So they had 9 sacks, a school record, against Nebraska. They had 7 sacks against Rutgers. They had 6 sacks in the first half, the last game they played against Michigan State. They had 0 sacks against Iowa and 0 sacks against Ohio State. So they went 2 weeks without a sack on those road games. And so, we know Oregon's got, big physical play. That's another interesting thing even here, because we're all learning about each other, right? This is the first time these two teams have played since 2003 when they did the Sun Bowl for a second time in like a 4 or 5 year stretch. And I think the perception sometimes with Oregon is, they're kind of a finesse, speed team. They're the track team. They have the speed center, all that stuff. But if you really watch it now, I think they've adjusted a little to the Big Ten. That's a physical. You win with physical play on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and there's no doubt Oregon has that. And so I'd be interested to see what kind of pass rush the Gophers can generate. Will it be like it was against Iowa and Ohio State? And in fairness, Ohio State runs a pretty quick passing game, and that helped. They also, I think, did not have a sack against Purdue, but Purdue gets rid of the ball really fast. It's hard to sack those guys. And so we'll see. Part of it could be strategic. If Oregon runs their quick passing game, there might not be time to get to the quarterback. So I think that'll be a key just to see how that unfolds. If Minnesota wants any chance to, be in this thing and to, pull off an upset possibly, I think that obviously has to show up. They're going to have to get after the quarterback, who's very good, very nimble, and we'll see if the Gophers can land a couple of sacks.
Mike Grimm joining us, the voice of the Golden Gophers, as Minnesota comes in a Friday night kick at Autzen Stadium, 6-3 overall, 4-2 in the Big 12. Oregon ranks 6th or 7th, wherever you want to take a look, what poll you want to look at. 8-1 overall, 5-1 in the Big 10. So when you look at, Mike, the Oregon defense led by Bryce Betcher, who's got 72 tackles there in the middle, Amari Washington, and others, what kind of challenge does that defense bring to PJ Fleck's squad offensively?
Well, a lot. It reminds me a little like I said it during our broadcast when the Gophers were playing the Hawkeyes. There just was no open space anywhere. It was like there were 13 of them out there instead of 11. And it seems Oregon plays in a similar way. And obviously, when you have great linebacker play by a guy who's a pretty good baseball player as well, and that story's been told a million times, but I think it's awesome. That's going to be the question. I mean, this week, the Gopher players and coaches have basically said, when asked, what's it going to take, and because certainly I think if you're in Minnesota's shoes, you're like, can we keep it close? I'm sure they're drawing upon, look, Wisconsin was hanging in there. Like if we're within a touchdown going in, middle of the later part of the third quarter, you just never know, right? Weird bounce, fumbled punt, who knows what happens. You just don't want it to be, 31-3 in the third quarter if you're Minnesota. So the answer that we got this week from all the players and the coaches was execute. We just got to execute our plays. Take it play by play. If it calls for a handoff, go get your 4 or 5 yards and then do it again. And I think that's how you have to attack it. The former Gopher coach Tracy Clays used to say, how do you kill an elephant or how do you eat an elephant?
Right.
One bite at a time. You can't eat the whole thing in one bite. And so I think that's probably how Minnesota's got to try to compartmentalize this. That's not an X's and O's answer. I don't know. I mean, not a lot of teams have been able to figure out how you move the ball consistently. Iowa hit that one long pass on their last drive, but that was a pretty darn good defensive performance by Oregon last week against an Iowa offense that is a little better than it's been in the past.
And is there any concern defensively as well? Against Michigan State, there were a couple of big plays, a huge run, a couple long passes for Michigan State. Any concern just about the explosivity and like how that's going to affect this game for the Ducks against the Gophers?
Yeah, I think it's more when you play Oregon, you got to worry about that. The Michigan State stuff was pretty interesting. It was a missed tackle on one of the long runs by a guy who's a pretty sure tackler. And it was kind of this weird the third quarter play, which got them back in it, quite frankly, was this weird play where the Gopher was positioned for an interception, quite frankly, and he tripped, just fell down. And when he fell down, he knocked over the other defender, and the guy catches it, and he finds himself with nobody around him, and off he goes for 71 yards and a touchdown. It was kind of I won't say fluke, but it was just one of those weird plays, and that electrified or got them energized because I think they were about ready to be done with the day, quite honestly. And then you find yourself in a meat grinder of a game. But I think specific to this game, I just think if you're the Gopher coaches, you're probably saying, anytime you play Oregon, regardless of what you did in previous weeks, you got to worry about explosive plays. And that is the one thing that if Minnesota tries to pattern itself after anybody, I do think they want to be a little like Iowa. Iowa seems to always be in the right place, their defenders. Like I said, there's not a lot of green grass. It just seems like there's a guy everywhere, and they're hard-hitting and physical. And Minnesota has played that way. That said, Minnesota doesn't have NFL draft picks everywhere, so sometimes you got to pick your poison. Like they gave up a bunch of yards against Purdue on the ground, and everyone was it was Purdue, and everyone was losing their mind. And they were like, we're willing to do that because we think Purdue eventually is going to want to throw the ball, and we think they're going to make mistakes when they throw the ball. And you got to give something up. And eventually the Gophers got a pick six, which, basically won the game. So they don't have All-Americans everywhere. So what they've got to do is sometimes you pick your poison. We might give up a little more on the ground, to try to play into the other team's strengths. Or maybe we'll try to stop the run, and if they have to throw it, make them throw it. I don't know what the game plan will be for tomorrow night, but Minnesota is at the point with their defense. They've got some young guys, and I think that's probably part of what they have to figure out is how do we limit those explosive plays, no question, and then what strategy do you use? because I don't think they can just say, oh, we're just going to overall shut this Oregon Ducks offense down.
All right, Mike, thanks. It's not the first time Minnesota's played on a non-Saturday. You opened up the season on a Thursday against Buffalo, and about a month ago you beat Nebraska 24-6 on a Friday. This is the only Friday night for the Ducks in the regular season. Of course, the postseason, they might have to throw a Friday game in there. Who knows? But have a safe trip coming out here, Mike. Great information and storytelling. We love the color that you bring, and enjoy Autzen Stadium, although you will stay dry. It might be a little wet.
Well, I would expect nothing less coming out there, right? It can definitely be rainy and a little gray, but that's good. That's all part of the great environment, and I can't wait. Looking forward to it, guys, and I enjoyed being on. Thanks so much.
There he goes, the great Mike Grimm. Follow him on Twitter, Mike Grimm3, the Gopher Radio Network. Coming up, Travis Demers, as we will bring on the voice of the Blazers. Big win for the Blazers last night. Get their first win on this road swing. They got 2 more games coming up before they come back home. We'll bring in the mayor next on the Danny and Justin radio program.
From deep distance,
It's time for your Rip City recap.
the lob at the rim is knocked away by Avdia into the hands of Kamara. Now up to Sharp. He attacks and drives right to the rim, around and around and around and in. Kamara collects it, bumped on the perimeter by Fears. Avdia in the corner for 3. That's good. And Avdia off to a hot start. He's got 8 points to lead all scorers. Now for Jones, crosses and attacks. Slides into the near side, rotates all the way to the far side for Kamara. Buries the 3. Terrific ball movement and patience by the Blazers offense. Alvarado on the perimeter in front of Williams. A step back 3, blocked by Williams. Loose on the ground and collected by Chris Murray. Alvarado very slow to get up. Now here's Murray attacking again. Slips through, ducks it in. Right in the face of Trey Murphy. 2:08 to play. Backs it up in front of Denny. Back and forth. Thought about the 3. Now his pass is deflected and stolen. Sharp in the open court with the drive and the smash. A big turnover. Blazers lead it by 8:35 for Shaden Sharp.
There's your Rip City recap. The voice of the mayor of Rip City. It's Travis Demers, who joins us now on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673. Blazers get a much-needed victory, their first win in this road swing, 125-117 against the New Orleans Pelicans after dropping a tough one by 5 to the Heat and just a heartbreaker to the Magic on Monday night. And Travis, so after those first 2 losses, Blazers kind of pick themselves up by their shoelaces and get a tough-fought win against a Pelicans team. You know, they're struggling right now, but still, a win is a win is a win on the road.
Yeah, they needed that. You know, they could have easily beaten Miami. I mean, they got out to that huge lead to start the game. Orlando, I mean, they have the ball. It's a tie game with a few seconds left and an opportunity to win, and then they turn it over, and Desmond Bane hits that ridiculous shot. There were plenty of opportunities. They could very easily be 3-0 on this trip. But last night with New Orleans, I mean, you're right. That team's been struggling, but they put an effort into that game last night. You know, some things that I had heard is that they just, you know, they had no life to them. Last night they had some life to them. I don't know if it was the Willie Green rumors or what, but, you know, especially the young guys, man, they played their tails off.
And so let's start with Denny Avdia. He puts in 32 against the Pelicans, 1 point of his season high of 33. Last 5 games, 25-plus points, 5 consecutive games. Longest streak since Dame put together a 19-game streak during the 2022-23 season. I mean, the Blazers, are they going to have to keep leaning into Denny to kind of lead this scoring?
I think for now, I mean, look, Shaden Sharp is finally starting to get into a rhythm. He was banged up. I think it was a calf. But he was on a minutes restriction for a while. And the first, 8 games of the season, 9 games of the season, he just didn't quite have that shooting touch, what we saw in the preseason from him. And he's starting to take over a little bit. Obviously, we saw the 35 points from him last night. So because he had been so inefficient in the first 5 games or so, Denny really had to be that guy. There really isn't another player on this team right now that can step in and carry a bulk of that scoring load. Drew Holiday's had 4 double-doubles already, and he's dishing the ball and all of that. He's really the only ball handler on this team. So to have somebody like Avdia who can be a playmaker, who can drive, who can get to the rim, who can get free throws. He's averaging, 8 a game. He can shoot the 3. To have him being able to be that kind of Swiss Army knife to do everything, they have had to rely on him. I don't know if they're going to need to, big picture, for a couple of reasons. Number one, what I mentioned about Shaedon Sharpe, and number two, when Scoot Henderson comes back, whenever that is, that'll change the look of the offense a little bit.
Yeah.
But for now, yeah, I mean, Denny has been that guy, and there's no reason why he can't continue to be that guy.
And it's been, I would say, a decent start for the Blazers, especially the mitigating circumstances with the off-the-court stuff. But where do you see them right now in the West?
Can I just go back to the first part of that? A decent start for the Blazers. Okay, think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
If I would have told you, a week before the season started, forget all the stuff that's happened, forget all of the injuries, right? Let's assume this team's fully healthy with the exception of Dame.
Okay.
If they're going to be 6-5 playing one of the toughest schedules in the NBA,
Great point.
I think everybody would have taken that, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You did, and now you add in all that stuff, the stuff that happened, with Chauncey and the effect that can have on a team. The injuries to a lot of guys. Obviously, Scoot is out now and Dame is out, but Blake Wesley has been a spark plug. He's going to be out for a few months. Matisse Thybulle was off to a terrific start. He's out for a while. Jeremy Grant gets ejected last night. So all of those things in, and I know fans look at it like, well, they could have won that game. They could have won that game. Yeah, sure they could. But I think this has been a terrific start for them. Also, with their 5 losses, they haven't lost the game by more than 8 points. Mm-hmm. So they have been in every single game. But as far as where they could be in the West, I still think right now they're in that, kind of 7-10 range. I do think they are a team that, is at the bare minimum a play-in team. But you look around the Western Conference, and here we are, in mid-November, and there are some teams that are off to some rough starts. I mean, Dallas has been bad. Memphis has been bad. The Clippers, the oldest team in the league, they've been kind of a disaster. Phoenix has played better than people expected. So I think that there is no reason why the Blazers shouldn't be in that 7-10 category.
And the Warriors are hovering around 500 as well. And let's not forget, the Blazers are the only one that's tagged OKC this season. They are the only one that's been able to beat the Thunder this year. I don't care, whatever you want to say about it.
I love beating those guys.
The mayor of Rift City is Travis Demers. You can follow him on Twitter at Travis Demers. He joins us on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline. By the way, folks, we've got a pair of tickets to give away for the Friday night, the matinee, 6 p.m., early evening, 6 p.m. game between Minnesota and Oregon under the lights, Pac-12 After Dark in the Big Ten at Autzen Stadium tomorrow night. We'll do that in the last segment, so stay by the phones. Let's talk about defense, and let's talk about being selfless. And Tamari Kamara is, again, among the best in the NBA in charges taken. He has 31 charges taken last season, and again, he's among the best this season. So what kind of energy does that bring? And as you're calling a game and all of a sudden you can flip a script and you can get an extra possession, what kind of juice does that give a team?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, because to your point, nobody was better in the league than him last year with that, right? And I don't know the numbers. I actually, tried to look it up, and when you get to that category on the NBA stats site, it's blank. So I don't know where he is. I'm going to try and find that information. But like you said, he's near the top again. I talked to him about that before the year, and he said he wanted to average a charge a game.
Wow.
That's probably not going to happen. But it's not just the charges, too. He really bothers opponents. He annoys them, and he draws offensive fouls when players are trying to post him up in other situations. So to have that guy obviously be a terrific on-ball defender, but be able to get under the opponent's skin and get them off their game and draw those offensive fouls, it's such a boost for this defense that's already been very good. But he's so critical to what they do.
So is there an art to that? And to kind of dovetail off that, do officials or refs kind of give someone the benefit of the doubt if they have kind of a rep of being able to draw those type of fouls?
I don't know if it's subconscious or not, but they absolutely do give players the benefit of the doubt there, and Kamara has earned the benefit of the doubt. But in terms of how a player becomes good at that, it's all about basketball IQ and anticipation, right? Because when you see a play developing, you can draw a charge in a play where somebody drives and kicks, and Tumani's done that a few times. Knowing where to be on the court, making sure that you're outside the restricted area, that you're set, that you're in position, and knowing a player's tendencies, all of that stuff comes into play. So it's court awareness, it's basketball IQ, it's anticipation, it's film study, it's all of that stuff. And to be as good as he is at it, I mean, all of those things have to come together.
Jeremy Grant gets ejected yesterday after a bit of a scuffle, but I feel like he's really found a place in this 2025-26 team on the bench, and at least for the short term. How critical is he with the lack of, you have a Matisse is out and you have a Scoot Henderson's out. Those guys will add to the depth of this team. But for right now, how critical is Jeremy Grant off the bench?
I mean, he's sixth man of the year. I mean, this team traditionally over the last decade or so has not really had bench scoring, right? And Jeremy's been that guy. And there was something that stood out to me. So I talked to our analytics coach, Jacob Mwalem, about it. And Jeremy last year, when he had, some of the bulk of the offensive load on him, he was taking a lot of isolation shots. He was taking a lot of mid-range shots. And this year, he really hasn't been. So I asked Jacob about that the other night. A third of Jeremy's shot attempts last year came from the mid-range. And he shot 37% from 2 last year. That's really bad.
Yeah.
This year, he is 0 for 4 from the mid-range for the season, and he's shooting over 50% from 2 and over 40% from 3. So you take those lower percentage shots out where he's one-on-one and he has to do all the work, like the old Carmelo Anthony pound the rock, drop step fade kind of thing. It doesn't really work in the NBA unless you're Julius Randle, basically. So the fact that he is taking threes, he is taking twos. You look at the distribution of his points, a third of his points are coming from beyond the arc, a third of his points are coming near the rim, and a third of his points are coming from the free throw line. And he is so much more confident now in all of that stuff coming together, not to mention the fact that he's also, because he's coming off the bench, he's playing against other players that are coming off of the bench. He's been so important to this team.
Travis Demers joining us. He is the mayor of Rip City on the Danny and Justin radio program. Blazers tomorrow night. It is an NBA Cup group stage game against the Rockets, and also a team that's won 2 in a row in Houston. They're 7-3 on the season. Blazers, looking up at them in the standings. Blazers are, by the way, 1-0 in Group Cup. NBA Cups group stage standing, I guess you would say. Another one coming up against the Warriors on Friday the 21st. So 5 o'clock tomorrow night here on the West Coast. What do you want to see out of this Blazers team tomorrow night to kind of build off of the win against the Pelicans?
Well, Houston's really good, right? And that's even with, Fred VanVleet out for the year. Kevin Durant is still playing at an elite level. It's disgusting. I don't know how he's doing it. And, I've said this for a long time, guys. Like, LeBron gets all the pub, right? Kevin Durant deserves a lot more of it. He's in his 19th year. He's still scoring 25 points a night. He's still shooting 40+% from 3. He is still an elite player. And we hear all about how LeBron has had this longevity. What about KD? Because right now I think KD is the better player today, which, look, LeBron's the oldest player in the league. It's not even close. But KD is still an elite player in this league. So not only do you have Kevin Durant, but the rest of the team that's around, they are so good defensively. They have so much length. They have the tallest starting lineup in NBA history. They're starting Amen Thompson at point guard. He's 6'7". He's averaging, 6 assists tonight because of the injury to Fred VanVleet. And he has been so good on both sides of the ball. They have so many good defenders. They haven't even mentioned Alperen Şengün yet. And he's a double-double machine, almost a triple-doubles. They are so deep and are so well coached and so good on the defensive side of the ball. They are an incredible team. I don't know that they're going to beat Oklahoma City in a 7-game series. But if they're fully healthy in the postseason, they're going to be really good. And I think they're top 2-3 in the Western Conference. So with that, you have to be disciplined against them. You can't turn the ball over. You can't make bad passes. You can't dribble into traffic and expect to pass out of it. When you get in tempo situations, you have to control the ball and get downhill and get to the rim. You can't allow them to offensive rebound, which the Blazers have had a lot of trouble with this year. You can't put them on the line, which the Blazers have had a lot of trouble with. That is going to be a tough game.
And I know that we're excited to see how the Blazers' defense will match up with the Rockets. Should be fun. I've had fun kind of looking at Kevin Durant's stats overall and being like, yeah, can he be the all-time leading scorer? Probably not, but we'll see what happens going forward.
I hope somebody passes LeBron.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough, diving into the numbers. But I know you've got some downtime as well whenever you're on the road, and we got some show recommendations for you. I know it's something we've talked about on the show. And so I'll start with this. Have you seen Chernobyl?
I have not.
Okay.
Wait, is there a show Chernobyl, or are we talking about like the
show?
Actual
There's a
Chernobyl
series.
There's a series.
There's a series, Chernobyl.
Okay.
It's probably on Max right now.
It's on Max. Very good. It's a serious tone, but I would say it's a very good historical representation of kind of how that went down, and it takes the it's basically the Russians, that are dealing with this.
Their side of it.
And their side of it. So some other ones I wanted to recommend for you. I don't know if you've seen Hijack. That is on Apple TV.
Nope.
That is an Idris Elba show that basically
By the way, we're giving this to our fans as well that are listening right now. These are recommendations outside of sports.
And these are co-signed by my mother, who is a film professor, if that means anything to you.
She's a what professor?
She's a film professor. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we got some good.
I like it.
Some good blood here. And the other one I wanted to recommend is Paradise. That's on Hulu, and that's kind of like a little more dystopian, I think. But have you ever heard of that one?
I haven't heard of any of these.
Any of these? Okay. Well, I would recommend out of all of them, I would go for Hijack. That one's it's kind of more fun. You don't have to necessarily be
emotionally invested in it.
Yeah, it's just more fun, and it's just basically Idris Elba. He's a negotiator in a hijacking situation, so it's cool.
Okay. Yeah, and he's handsome.
Exactly,
so,
and they really lean into that.
We can talk about that in another program.
Okay. I still have a season and a half left of The Diplomat to get through. Okay. I tried to watch Dark Matter, but when I downloaded the first episode, I only got audio, no video. So
weird.
I haven't started that yet.
Sorry, I think that was on Apple TV or whatever, so I apologize.
Yeah,
I pushed you that direction.
I found it. And
okay.
Then, when this season of Tulsa King is over, I'm going to watch that. So I've got a pretty good list going here now.
All right, and then one more, the man in the High Castle.
Okay, what's that?
So if you like Diplomat, Rufus Sewell, who is the husband of the ambassador that you're watching right now, he is a guy that basically it's basically 1962 if Germany had won World War II. What happened?
That's kind of terrifying.
It is terrifying. So, but it's a great 4 seasons. So you got a lot. And that's on Prime Video, so you can watch that as well. All right, Mayor.
Interesting.
Okay.
I love World War II stuff, and that sounds very interesting.
It's a great cast as well. Stephen Root's in there. Yeah, so there's really it's really, really good. All right, so you've got tomorrow night 5 p.m. Blazers and Rockets, and then Sunday 4:30 right here on Fox Sports Eugene as the Blazers take on the Mavericks. And then you get to come home, buddy. You get to empty out the milk in your fridge that's been sitting there for 3 weeks and waiting for you to come back.
Yeah, but I'm only home for we have Monday off. We play Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we're back on the road for 5 days. So,
dude,
I'm barely home.
Well, we love listening to you and enjoy always your visits with us here on the program.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
All right, there he goes, the great mayor of Rip City. It's Travis Demers. All right, we've got some tickets to give away. Why don't we just start right now? We've got 2 tickets to give away for Minnesota, Oregon tomorrow night. We can send them to your Ticketmaster account. All you got to do is be caller number 8 right now. Caller number 8 at 541-343-5673. That's the Oregon Man Clinics hotline. We're going to send you to the game tomorrow with Oregon and Minnesota. Caller number 8 on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673. Justin and I will wrap up the program next. Big Ten Power Rankings, recruiting, all of it is still in front of us on the Danny and Justin radio program. All right, just awaiting the winner. I know we've got a winner, so thanks for tuning in, listening. We got a pair of tickets that we were just giving away for Oregon, Minnesota, so thanks for tuning in and calling on the Oregon Man Clinics hotline at 541-343-5673. I do want to get some of the recruiting stuff, but let's do our Big Ten Power Rankings first, Justin.
Okay.
So here's who I've got in 11 through 18. I got Purdue, Michigan State, Maryland, UCLA, Penn State, Wisconsin, and Northwestern. That's who I've got in my bottom.
Okay, I think I don't have all the teams pulled up, but I think we're similar.
Okay, so let's do top 10. Top 10. My number 10 is Minnesota, who the Ducks have. They are 6-3 and 4-2. Previous rank was 10 for me as well, and they're bowl eligible now. They don't have any marquee wins, but this is an opportunity for one. This is a big game for them.
Yeah,
big game for them.
I didn't want to move Nebraska into my top 10. I felt forced to. I think they're better than Northwestern, honestly. I don't think Northwestern has great wins when I look at their schedule.
Okay.
I don't think Nebraska's that good, but they did beat UCLA, who I had at my number 10. So I put them at 10.
All right, what about number 9?
Number 9, I have Minnesota.
Okay. I got Washington at 9, 6-3 and 3-3. They just, again, still haven't impressed me. I mean, and they lost to Wisconsin.
Exactly. You lose to Wisconsin, you are going to lower yourself in my top 10. I have them at number 8.
Okay, I have Nebraska at 8.
Okay, so the same 3 teams in different order.
Different order. 7.
Illinois.
Same thing here. Iowa at 6.
I have Michigan.
Okay, and I've got Michigan at 5. Where do you have Iowa then? At 5?
I have Iowa at 4 still. I'm not going to penalize them for losing to Oregon by 2.
Okay, where do you have USC then? At 5?
5.
Okay.
And that's USC beat Michigan.
Okay, I've got USC at 4. They're 5-1. So that's kind of where I went into the conference play as well, and they've played almost the same legitimate schedule as Iowa has, and they have less losses. So that's why I put them at 4.
Fair.
Oregon, so let's do the top 3.
Yep.
Oregon, Indiana, Ohio State.
All right, we'll see if there's any changes on that.
So bottom, and it's kind of what we talked about. It's like that bottom half, even from like 6 down, there's a lot of interchangeable parts there. You have our winner?
I do. Congratulations to Bruce Teeter of Eugene. You'll be going to the Duck game tomorrow at 6 p.m. against Minnesota.
And I don't know if it's going to rain or not. Yeah, I think
it never rains at Autzen Stadium.
Be prepared for all of that. Be prepared. Kelly Graves inks 3 on signing day. Lau Pele Fulatea and Emilia Kristevsky, along with the previously announced Brooklyn Haywood, all have officially inked to Oregon. And what's interesting is a couple of these kids are highly ranked. Kelly Graves has put together a really nice class.
Yeah.
This is going to be fun the next few years. And this is the kind of style that he wants. Kids that can fill up the hoop. Falatea is 19.5 points. Krzyzewski is the 41st ranked player, number 4 post player in the nation in the state of California.
You have a height on her? Just out of curiosity.
Really? 6'4".
Okay, pretty good.
See, there you go. See, I pulled that one out, didn't I? You were testing me, and I pulled it out. Melissa Lombardi also pulls together
Very good
a
class,
top
too.
10 class. Do you want to talk about this one a little bit?
Sure. I
Piper
can pull
Kavanaugh.
Up. Yeah, Piper
Annalise
Kavanaugh.
DeWitt.
Yeah, Annalise DeWitt. And they also had a player that was from the same place as Paige Sinicki, who I'm trying to...
That wasn't Bailey Goldberg, was it?
It could be.
Riley Ruppel. We also got Kylie Tafua.
Yeah, they got some good pitching, some infielders.
Really.
Power
This
speed.
is a fantastic class.
Yeah.
Grades between a 91 and 96 in Softball America. So
Number 3 player according to Softball America. So it's going to be a fun class. And it's really building something. I mean, it's really awesome to see.
that's going to be version 9.
Yes.
Man,
Man, that's crazy.
Forward to version 9. Isn't that nuts?
It is.
All right, tomorrow in the program, we're going to have the great Yogi Roth. We're going to have big bets as well. The games are going to show up on Bigger Bets here in just a few moments.
I picked the games.
So you can go online on the old Twitter thing on Bigger Bets, and you can list out your games however you want.
Oh, a joke!
I got fired from the bank today. A woman asked me to check her balance, so I pushed her.
Dad jokes!
Meaning you can go ahead and call us if you want to call in when we do it at 2:40 tomorrow, or you can go to Twitter and just tell us your
Tweet
games.
us.
Tweet us. Tweet at us. And then you can get entered in that way as well. All right, so let's see. I got it. So how does the moon cut his hair?
Ooh. I don't know.
Eclipse it.
It was almost as funny as you coughing in the beginning of today's show.
That's going to have to be a drop. I still don't know where that came from.
It came from the heart.
Pretty embarrassing. But you know what? I absolutely do not hide behind that. I am a human being. All right. Tomorrow on the program, Yogi Roth, Big Bets. We'll have the guys from Go Quell. We'll have Goose in the studio. Good job today, Justin. Thanks again to Mike Grimm, also to the mayor, Travis Demers. Back tomorrow. Put a smile on your face. Someone else says they deserve it. So do you. God bless. Peace.